Welcome to All Things Podcast, and we want to thank you all for subscribing to the channel, sitting at 260. And we apologize for not being present for the past 3 weeks. And today, we want to ask you to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to the channel. And we'll not be doing a political analysis today. Today, we just want to talk about things that affect us on day-to-day life. And today, we want to talk about self-control. Self-control. Do you have self-control? What is self-control? How important is self-control? Whether it's on your food you eat, the drinks you take, the clothing you wear, the things you buy. How important is self control? In today's world, it's a world where you are watching TV at home. We are bombarded with different types of advertisement. You see food on TV being advertised, and immediately you see the advert, I gotta have that food. You see drinks, I gotta have that drink. You see clothing, I gotta have that clothing. Whatever is advertised, we feel like we must get it because we've seen it. And that's how we are affected by advertisement in today's world. So, how important is self control? Sometimes I don't need this thing that I've seen on TV, but because I've seen it, I feel the need to go get it. I don't need it. I never thought about it, but because I've seen it advertised, then I feel the need to go get it. Now, self control says, I have the money. I can afford to buy this thing. But what value does it add in my life? Will it add anything? Will it add any value in my life? So self control guides you or prevents you from doing things unnecessarily, from doing things that you're not supposed to do. For example, when you have self control, you cannot overspend because of self control. When you have self control, you cannot buy things you don't need because you've got that control. When you have self control, you cannot overspend. I've already mentioned that. When you have self control, you cannot be manipulated or you cannot be hooked by the adverts you see. You cannot be misled to do things that you were not even planning to do. So self control says, I know what I want. I know what I need. I have this much. I'm going to spend this much. A lot of us, on our payday, we get money, a lot of money. But because we lack self control, we don't even have planning. See, if you don't have self control, you will not even be able to plan. When you plan because of self control. You are saying, I'm going to use this much for this much for this much for this, then I'm going to save this much. But without self control, whatever resources that you get, you're going to spend it all. And before you know it, you have no money. You understand? Because you did not have self control. So, for both students, high school, primary school, university, we all have to have self control. Even when it comes to relationships, you have a girlfriend, you have a boyfriend, you have a wife, you have a husband. Self control says, even if you see another beautiful lady, because you have self control, you are faithful to one lady. Self control will make you faithful, will teach you to be faithful to your partner. So if you don't have self control, any lady that you see, you want to have, any lady that you see, you want to talk to, any lady that you see, you want to propose. You understand? When ufuna ukushayelana nomubani, ombonayo nje uyamlanda, awuna self control. So self control will prevent you from making a lot of mistakes in life. Self control will help you to avoid many things in life. Self control says there's a car which uh, cost me it cost maybe 200 grand and you cannot afford it. It's beautiful. You can only afford a car that is 100 grand. Self control will say to you, this car is way above your living. If you get it, you will not be able to meet your monthly needs. Yes, you can get it, but you will live a difficult life because most of your money will go into paying for that car. When you have self control, you will leave that car and go to what you can afford. Because it is important to know that the salary that you get or the money that you have can only allow you to live this type of life. But today we are so influenced. When somebody buys a Polo airliner, everybody wants to drive a Polo airliner. When somebody buys a GT6 Toyota Hilux, everybody wants to drive a GT6 Toyota Hilux. But self control says yes, they buy it because they can afford it. I cannot afford it. I can only afford a quid. Then you drive a quid. Self control. They will say a big man such as you driving a quid. What is a big man doing in such a small car? Being big, it doesn't mean you have big money. Yes, you're a big man, but you've got no money. So live according to what you have. So when you have self control, you don't care about people's opinion. You don't care about what people think about you. You don't care about what people say about you or what people will say. You live according to your budget. You live according to what you can afford. So you don't worry about things you cannot afford. You don't worry about things that are not on your pay grade. Self control. You understand? So, and self control, it's so important because once you have self control, you can live your life without any pressure from anybody because you know who you are. Now, let me tell you something. Why would you worry about what people think of you? People who don't care about you, people who will not even help you about anything, but you live to please people. When you have self control, you cannot be a man pleaser. The moment your life, you want to live for other people, it's a problem. Don't live for other people, live for yourself. So, self control, it's very important for all of us to have it in the food that we eat. You know, I've seen some people, a person would drink a 2 liter of Coca-Cola, one person, in 2 hours. Is that you don't have self-control? A whole person can drink. I mean, like those who drink alcohol, they don't. Most people who drink alcohol, they don't have self-control. That's why they end up drunk. If you are drunk, you you know if you are drunk, you don't have self-control. That's why you're drunk. You pee on yourself, you insult people, you start fights. Why? You are intoxicated. So don't allow yourself to be intoxicated by things people are doing. Because once you become intoxicated by advertisement, intoxicated by the influence of your colleagues or of your family or of your friends or anybody, once you become intoxicated, you cannot think straight. You make decisions that will harm you. You make decisions that will hurt you. Why? You are intoxicated by other people's lifestyles. You are intoxicated by other people's ability to do things. You are not able to do what they do. But because you want to fit, because you want to be like them, then you end up sacrificing your happiness so that these people can clap hands for you and say, wow, look where he stays. He stays in town. He has a townhouse or he drives this particular car. If you have self control, you know that you can only stay in a village. You'll not try to rent a flat in town so that people can say, "Oh, he's from town." You don't have self when you have self control, you live according to what you can afford. Once you are under pressure to live in town, to rent a flat or to buy a townhouse, and after paying for a car and a townhouse, you cannot survive yourself. You don't have self control. In other words, many people have good jobs, you know, and according to the pay they're receiving monthly, they should be living a good life, but they're suffering. The reason they're suffering is because lack of self-control. The children are in the most expensive school. You drive the most expensive car. You live in the most expensive suburb. paying the most expensive rent. Your car takes more fuel. So after receiving your salary, I'll make an example. After receiving 50,000 rand salary net, 50, 50 K comes into your bank account. You are paying a car worth of 15,000 a month, a house 7,000 a month, school fees 10,000 a month. Already you are out. You understand? You're already out. You know. So this is what I'm trying to say. If you're netting 50,000 or 20,000, why drive a car that will need you to pay 12,000 a month? Live in a place where you pay rent of 7,000 or 5,000 a month. Why do that? You understand? So it's because we lack self control. We are influenced by our surroundings, by the people that they don't even know us. At the most, the people we're trying to impress, they're not even interested in what we're doing. They don't even care. But and the past trauma, which yo school is we've been poor for a long time. It's time to enjoy. Listen, ukhule uhlupheka. There was no planning in poverty. You see, when you have poverty, there's nothing to plan in poverty because you don't know what to eat. You don't know where your next meal is going to come from. That's poverty. You cannot plan anything. But as soon as you have money, it's time to plan, it's time to strategize. But because people were traumatized in their poverty, the moment they get money, they stop planning. They can't plan. They say, no, 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 I must spend. It's as if their money is going to disappear. It's your money. It's not going to go anywhere. Sit down, plan properly. Make sure that in your planning, after everything, your fuel, your rent, your car rental, your house rental, school fees, everything that you gotta pay, make sure that after all that is settled, at least you have 5 grand or 2 grand remaining emergency money. But you find that in our planning, everything is so expensive to an extent that when all is said and done, you are borrowing money. So, this is what I want us to talk about today: self control. What do you think of self control? Is self control important? Is it necessary for us to have self control? Talk to me.